I'd like to take a few minutes here to introduce Dan. Dan Brule, whose website you can visit at breathmastery.com, is a modern day teacher, healer, life coach, and spiritual teacher. Dan is a world renowned expert and authority in the art and science of breathworks for over 50 years. He is the founder of the Breathing Festival, the director of the International Center of Breathworks. Dan is a former US Navy deep sea diver, medical rescue specialist, from the Vietnam era veteran. He is also the creator of breath therapy and was among the original group of international certified rebirthers. He is a master of Prana Yoga, Qigong, and he leads worldwide spiritual breathing movement. He coaches, trains, and certifies professional breathworks, and since 1970, he's traveled to over 67 countries and personally taught more than 250,000 people to use breath and breathing for personal growth, professional development, peak performance, self-healing, and spiritual awakening. He's trained Olympic athletes, special forces, and elite martial artists. He coaches leading medical experts, psychotherapists, yoga teachers, fitness gurus, corporate executives, life coaches, and celebrities, including Tony Robbins. And we have links for links for Dan on his bio for his online breathwork training courses. I highly recommend you look into them. And in today's session, we'll be exploring breath awareness and conscious breathing as a meditative practice in mindfulness training. Dan, welcome. And amongst all of his accomplishments, he's extremely humble, always motivated to help others see the potential in what they don't even see in themselves. So it was with honor and pride and extreme gratitude, I invite Dan Brule to the Meditation Demystified stage. Take it away, Dan.
Okay, wonderful. So demystifying meditation, what a beautiful and what an ideal focus. Because meditation is much simpler, much more natural than we might tend to think. Many people make meditation seem so complicated, and there are some very complicated meditations. But meditation in its purest sense is utterly simple. And maybe that's why it seems so complicated to people, because it is so simple. Like the breath itself, one of the most powerful forces within our reach, one of the most powerful healing and growth tools, and it's right under our nose. So we overlook it, we underestimate it. And meditative awareness, which is how I like to think of meditation, when we're learning meditation or practicing meditation, we are engaging in what I would call meditative awareness. One of my first teachers, Ken Kai's, used the term conscious awareness. And I love that, to be consciously aware. And we're not consciously aware when we're thinking, when we're wanting things, when we're doing things. We can be aware of our thoughts. We can meditate on our actions. And so you can see there's a space there. And my best understanding of meditation comes from Patanjali, who didn't invent yoga, but he took all of the yogic wisdom of his day and he put it into a system. And so he's called the father of yoga, and that system is called the Yoga Sutras. He didn't write them down. They were probably spoken for the first few hundred years, and then someone decided to capture it and write it down. But he and the Buddha were like second cousins. They never met each other. They lived in different times in different places, but they had the same purpose in life. What is the cause of suffering, and what is the cure for suffering? And if you look at the list that the Buddha made of the causes of suffering, and you look at the list that Patanjali made for the causes of suffering, they're the same list. They discovered the same things. When you look at what the cure for suffering that the Buddha listed, the cure for suffering, and you look at the cure for suffering that Patanjali listed, it's the same list. And so I always wish these two guys could have gotten in the same room and had a conversation, and I could have listened in, because they agreed on everything practically, except a couple of little things. And maybe it was a language issue. So for example, the Buddha put mental phenomenon and emotional phenomenon in the same basket. And Patanjali separated them. And he said, so we have mental phenomenon and physical phenomenon, and that's what the Buddha believed and thought and taught. And the Buddha put emotional phenomenon in that field, in that category with mental phenomenon. And Patanjali said, no, they're very distinct and very separate. And in my experience, they're separate also. You have mental phenomenon, you have physical phenomenon, and overlapping them in the middle, maybe on the edge, you have emotional phenomenon, right? Because emotions have a physical component and they have a mental component. And so they're overlapping there. So that was one slight little difference. The other difference is that the Buddha said consciousness, awareness, is the same thing. And if we look up in an English dictionary, consciousness, you'll see awareness. If you look up awareness, you'll see consciousness. So they're sort of synonymous in a way. To be conscious is to be aware is to be conscious. But there's a subtle differentiation there. And the Buddha never made it. Actually, the Buddha said they were totally the same, consciousness, awareness. And Patanjali said, no, they could not be more different. Wow. So, and the way he understood it, and an easy way for us to understand it, he didn't have the analogy in his day, but us, we have a great analogy, and that is a TV screen or a movie theater. That what you see on the TV screen, that's consciousness. Everything that occurs on the screen of a TV, you could say that's what occurs in consciousness. But a television cannot watch itself. It requires an external awareness to observe what is on the screen of consciousness. And so Patanjali separated that consciousness and awareness. And he said that consciousness was subject to all of the same forces and dynamics as everything else in nature. For example, consciousness is subject to gravity. And so all of the forces of nature apply to consciousness, but they do not apply to awareness. Awareness, as Patanjali saw it, is outside of all of that. And that's who we really are, is this pure awareness at our essence, at our core. And the Buddha recognized that. The essence of the Buddha is the witness, is this observer in us, this detached witness. And that in Patanjali's teaching was pure awareness. And so this is what we are moving towards, becoming available to, and practicing, accessing, and that is this pure awareness. So meditation begins to move us in that direction of pure awareness. So however you get there is great. My father never talked about meditation his whole life, but he loved to go fishing, and he would just zone out on the sparkling of the sun on the water, or the sounds of the waves splashing on the side of the boat. This is meditation. When you take all of your attention and you focus it on something, you are stepping onto this path of meditation. But meditation isn't only a laser-like focus, it's also kind of an expanded awareness. So it's tough to wrap our mind around something that is larger than our mind. And so we can only do it through experience, and we can get closer to it through feeling than we can through thinking. So that's why breath and breathing is such a beautiful and powerful form of meditation, a method of meditation. So let's just see that power and that potential right now. You could look at a picture of a saint and meditate on a picture of your favorite saint. You could meditate on the sounds of nature. You can meditate on music. You can meditate on a mathematical formula, right? You can use mantra as meditation. Movement can be meditation. And so there are many ways to enter into a meditative awareness that state of meditative awareness. And what I like to do is encourage you to use the breath as that key, as that doorway into pure awareness, right? So how do we begin using the breath as meditation? Because that is the theme of the next 30 minutes or 40 minutes or so. Breathing as a meditation. The first thing we need to do is gather up all of our attention, gather up all of your energy, gather up all your consciousness, and focus it on one thing. And that is the inflow of breath and the outflow of breath. And where do you pick up this point of observation? You can begin at the very tip of your nose. Put your attention at the tip of your nose right now. And don't breathe in any special way. Just sit, just relax, and wait for the breath to come and go and move by itself, and allow it to just come and go by itself. You don't do the breathing. You observe the breathing. You sense the breathing. You watch the breathing. You listen to the breathing. You focus on the breathing. You pay attention to your breathing. And guess what? You're meditating. What are the sensations at the tip of your nose that you can notice as the breath comes in? And when the breath goes out, what are those sensations you can feel in your nose? Maybe you notice that the breath is cooler coming in and it's warmer coming out. Can you sense that subtle difference in the temperature of the air when it goes in versus when it comes out? You want to focus on those details, those subtle details. We have little hairs in our nose. Can you feel them bending in the wind when you inhale and bending in the wind when you exhale? We're turning up our attention. We're focusing it. Can you sense the breath up in your sinuses? As you breathe in, follow the sensations of the breath deeper into your nose and follow the sensations of the breath up into your skull and in your sinuses. Can you sense the breath from there? Many people experience the sense of breathing. It turns into an experience, a kind of a light experience. But you're looking for physical sensations, subtle energy sensations. What about in your throat? Can you feel the breath as it swirls in your throat before it goes down into your lungs? Can you hear anything in your throat with the breath? Any internal breath sounds? So you could tune into your breathing from that vantage point of your throat and sense the air coming and going through your throat. Relax your throat. Relaxation is a very important aspect of meditation. I live in the desert here in Baja, in Los Cabos, Mexico. Dry, arid desert climate. And so the soil is hard and packed and tight. And when it rains, the water just washes along the surface. But if you turn the soil, if you loosen the soil, if you soften the soil, then when it rains, the soil absorbs the water. If you are not relaxed when you're meditating, you are not going to absorb the life force that you contact through meditation. You're not going to absorb the information. And so relaxation is a very important part of meditation. And relaxation can become a meditation in the same way that breathing can become a meditation. So let's bring those two things together very early, breathing and relaxation, and do both with very great awareness. So we're tracking the sensations that the breath causes, the air causes when it comes in and goes out, starting at the tip of the nose, including any feelings up deeper in the nose and in your sinuses and in your skull, including feelings in your throat, sounds in your throat, sensations. And then we pick up the breath in the form of movement. When it comes into our chest, you feel your chest moving, and you can meditate on those movements. And you can follow the breath all the way down into your belly And you can track the breath from your belly and the movements and the sensations caused by breathing in your belly. It's not an accident that the lungs are wrapped around the heart. And when we focus on the feelings of breathing in our lungs, in our chest, we're already beginning to open our heart center. The lungs are wrapped around the heart. And when you play with your breath, you are already opening and softening your heart space. And so you can bring your attention to your heart and you can meditate on your heart space. And the breathing helps us do that because there are sensations and there are movements occurring in that heart space with each breath. So you enjoy and you experience and you observe the expansion of your chest on the inhale and the release of your chest on the exhale. And you meditate on that. You focus on it, you watch it, you sense it, you feel it, you listen to it, you tune into it. Subtle sensations of expansion, side to side. Front to back. And top to bottom. You let go of everything else, you put all of your attention, all of your energy, focus it on the breathing. There's something about being total. If you got 10% of your energy here and 10% of your attention there and 10% of your thinking here, you've spread your energy out. You've sort of dissipating all of your creative energy by scattering it everywhere. But when you gather up your attention and your energy, and we do that by breathing, because when you focus on your breathing, you are getting a handle on your energy and you're getting a handle on your consciousness. And that's meditation. And so follow these sensations, pick a place that's very easy for you, where it's easy for you to monitor the breath, to sense the breath as it comes and goes. It might be the nose, might be up in the sinuses, might be in the skull, might be in the chest, might be in the belly. I teach people to infuse every cell with breath. And so you can follow the breathing beyond the lungs, and you can send the breath to every cell of your body. Can you do that? When you breathe, distribute that incoming breath to every cell of your body. And when you release the breath, release your whole body. Relaxation and breathing. Relaxation and breathing. So the breathing is on the inhale, relaxation on the exhale. Energy on the breathing, relaxation on the exhale. So we're playing with ways to make breathing a meditation. We're playing with breath work as meditation. And everything starts with awareness. The first thing we need to do is gather all of our attention, gather all of our energy, all of our awareness, and focus it on the breathing. And it doesn't take effort. You're not forcing, you're not straining. There's an open softness. You're available to the sensations. You're open to the sensations. You're not trying to drill down into them. You're not trying to grab them. That's tension, that's stress, that's doing. Meditation is an undoing. It's a shifting out of that doing thinking mode into a pure being, presence mode. But breathing is happening all the time. And so it's always available for us to access this meditative state and to deepen the meditative state and to expand that meditative state. Very, very simple. You can begin to turn your breathing up. That is, start to breathe fuller, start to breathe deeper. And this should heighten all of what you're already hearing and sensing and feeling and observing. It's like turning up the volume on a stereo. You can hear the music easier, right? So when you start to deepen your breathing or quicken your breathing, and you've already paying attention to it, Now you can begin to deepen the practice. Bring in more energy and let go and relax more. Bring in more energy and relax and let go even more. So you keep playing with the breath and playing with relaxation in a very conscious way. And this way you sort of sneak into a meditative state. It just begins to occur. You just find yourself in a meditative state. So let's go back to the beginning where we're sensing the breath. And I'm going to leave you with this beautiful exercise. It comes from Thich Nhat Hanh. It's called Kumnai, relaxation. And his core practice was called equalizing the flow. Equalizing the flow. And that is to divide the stream of breath in half. So half of the air goes in and out your nose, and half of the air goes in and out your mouth. That means you're breathing through both the nose and the mouth at the same time. Now, the mouth is a bigger opening and there's less resistance. So if my mouth is open and I breathe, almost all the air goes in and out of my mouth because it's less resistance. So I have to create some kind of resistance in my mouth. Maybe with your tongue, your teeth, or your lips, you create a little bit of resistance. And then that resistance equals the resistance, the natural resistance in your nose. And when you can create, I use my tongue and my teeth and my lips, and I can create just the amount of resistance that equalizes the natural resistance that's already in the nasal structure. And when I do that, then the air will divide itself in half because it's equal resistance. And the air will look for the path of least resistance, but if the resistance is equal, the air will divide itself. And it will pass through both in and out, the nose and the mouth at the same time. See if you can begin to do that. You have to get very conscious of the sensations of the air passing over your lips and your teeth and your tongue. And you play with the size of the opening of your mouth, limiting the size of the opening of your mouth with your tongue and your teeth and your lips until you've created an opening that has the same resistance as the opening that already exists in your nose. And now you can equalize the flow. Now the stream of breath will divide itself in half, half in and out the nose, half in and out the mouth. This is called equalizing the flow. And it forces us to become very sensitive of subtle sensations of the air over our lips and our teeth, the sensations of resistance in our nose. And by tuning into these details, we are beginning to move into this meditative awareness. So it triggers a very natural meditative state when you practice Kumnai, when you practice equalizing the flow of air between the nasal channel and the oral passage. Practice that for a few minutes. I put my tongue behind my teeth. I control the size of the opening of my mouth so that I create a certain resistance. And as soon as that resistance is equal to the resistance of my nose, I can sense the air going in and out both of my nose and my mouth at the same time. And we focus on that group of sensations. And if you're doing that, you're meditating. And then we practice making the breaths deeper or faster without losing that equalization. So now we can bring meditation into action. It's one thing to meditate in a cave or in a meditation studio and you get into perfect stillness in the perfect yoga position and you go into this deep state of meditation. But what about when you're out in the marketplace? What about when you're with your family? We need to have an ability to be meditation in action. We need to be able to lock into a meditative state in the middle of activities, interactions, washing dishes, having sex, working, digging holes. We need to be able to bring meditation into our everyday life. That's when it's powerful. Just meditating once or twice a day for 20 minutes or 40 minutes, hey, that's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. Oh my God, that is such a beautiful and powerful practice. But to bring meditation into your everyday life, bring meditation into every single breath, and you are bringing meditation into your life. And you can do this at any time, in the middle of anything. You can just stop, tune into your breathing. Notice the subtle details, the sensations, explore them, open to them, focus on them. And you're meditating. And meditation can become a default state. So for me, it feels like it's more like I'm in meditation all the time and things pull me out of it. So it used to be, my work was, how do I get into this beautiful Sat Chit Ananda consciousness, existence, bliss? How do I get into this Advaita, non-duality? How do I access this beautiful state of oneness, which is the result of meditation, which is what meditation awakens us, the sense of oneness and connectedness to all that is. And so in the beginning, that was the question. How do I get into this state? How do I access this state? And now that's not my work anymore. I know how to access it. Now the work is, what keeps pulling me out of it? What has the power to disturb my meditation? And that's now my work. Now, I've been meditating for 40 years, and so maybe people don't start with that particular work, but beginning with breath as a meditation, what a shortcut. What a way to accelerate your existing meditation practice. Because whatever meditation practice you have, if you've practiced it, you have also been developing meditative awareness. And that meditative awareness is accessible to you anywhere, anytime. In the middle of pain, in the middle of suffering, in the middle of anger, in the middle of craziness, it's there. We just need how to learn to access it. And when we do, we have a way of liberation, the path of liberation. Meditation works. Hey, meditation is one of those tried and true methods. It's been tested over the centuries by cultures, by millions of people. And so we can take advantage of that. And so we can build on it. And so I'm inviting you to use your breath as a tool for meditation, as a meditative practice. How conscious can you be of every single breath? How many details can you tune into with every inhale, with every exhale? How open and soft can you be? That's relaxation. Right? The more open and soft you are, the more accessible you are to infinite being, infinite space, borderless, boundaryless forces. We can contain a lot of energy the more we open and expand. And we can become a space in which spirit can dwell. The more we get out of the way, the more spirit can come and go. And spirit is coming and going with every breath. So breathing meditation is meditating on the spirit of life. And we can find creative ways to do that. And the beautiful thing about breathing, the beautiful thing about meditation, no one can do it for you. And so it's very empowering. And whatever benefits you achieve, you have no one to blame but yourself. And so let your breath be your meditation teacher. And let everything that arises in consciousness be the object of your meditation. Nothing needs to disturb your meditation. Some people say, oh, my mind is so busy, or my body starts to hurt, or I have a pain and it disturbs my meditation. No, that should become the focus of your meditation. What are the details of that pain? What are the details of the thoughts coming and going? Where do they begin? Where do they end? When do they enter? Where do they exit? What are the feelings in your body when you're saying to yourself, I can't meditate? Those feelings can be objects of meditation. Everything is a door to meditation. Suffering can trigger a meditative state. An orgasm can trigger a meditative state, right? Any ecstatic experience, a sunrise should trigger your meditative awareness. When you're listening to music, if you look at anything beautiful, it should open this meditative awareness in you. Because the more open you are, the more conscious you are, the more you are going to absorb from the experience. So the next time you're watching a sunset or looking at a candle or a picture of a saint, Breathe in that experience and experience that picture, that sunset, whatever you're looking at. Experience it through the breath. And you will begin to unlock some really amazing abilities. They're just waiting for us. We have some extraordinary abilities residing in us that are untapped, undiscovered, and we access them through meditative awareness. They awaken in us in the light of consciousness. I am so glad that Mahesh, you organized this movement of demystifying meditation. It is so important because it is a key to liberation. It is a path to enlightenment, and everyone wants to and needs to be on that path. So I want to thank you for your attention. I hope you've been practicing. I hope you will go back and listen again and go deeper into these simple practices. We didn't spend much time on them. All we have time to do is introduce you to them. If you would like to go further into them, contact me anytime. But you can do it on your own. Your breath is always with you. And the more intimate your relationship to your breath becomes, the more intimate your relationship to your body is, your relationship to life, to nature, to other people, and to the source of everything. So please learn to use your breath as a meditation and celebrate the benefits with the rest of us. So thank you for paying attention. I don't know if we're open for Q&A or what are we up to at this point. I'm trying to be conscious of our time, Mahesh. And so give me some guidance. What's happening? Where are we now?
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you so much for this practice. And thank you for all the work that you do. We have a few minutes here. And if there's anybody who has any questions, feel free to unmute yourself, turn your video on if you feel comfortable, and ask away. And while we're waiting on the next person, I did have a question that came in, which is, during our regular day, we breathe wrong. We've been told sometimes that we're breathing wrong. So how do we know when we get into this meditative state that you speak of, that we're doing it right? Is there?
Yeah. So, you know, there's this question of right and wrong, and yes, you know, and right and wrong is within those boundaries of the logical and the illogical mind. We need to go beyond that. It's not just a matter of right and wrong. It's like Rumi talked about. There's a space, there's a field beyond me and you, beyond right and wrong, beyond good and bad. Let's meet in that field. And so as soon as we begin to get into judging them, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? You're definitely doing it wrong, because it's not a head thing. It's a heart thing. It's a feeling thing. And all we're talking about is exploring present moment sensations. And there's no wrong way to do that. These sensations are arising and falling, and you are tracking them. No way to do that wrong. If you're aware of a thought that just came, you're meditating. If you're aware of a feeling or sensation that just arose, you're meditating. Now, as soon as you react to that thought with judgment or thinking, or you react to that thought with scratching or itching or moving or tensing, now you're out of meditation again, right? So awareness, relaxation, and breathing, you can't do those things wrong. You can always do them better. So instead of right and wrong, instead of good and bad, in my seminars and our training, we tell people to up-level that. It's not a matter of good and bad. It's a matter of good and better. We don't need good and bad. Good and better is enough, okay? So yes, you're doing it good and you can do it better. No need to say, oh, you're doing it bad, you should do it good. No, you're doing good, you're doing good. Let's see if we can do better. So get rid of good and bad. It's not part of meditation whatsoever. It has nothing to do with meditation. Good and better. Now we're getting into the field of meditation.
Beautiful. Thank you. And if anybody else has any other questions, feel free to type that in your chat. You can go to the bottom. There's a little chat button. You can click on that and send it to all the panelists and all the attendees if you so wish.
Hey, while we're waiting, I can give you another little thing. I don't do waiting anymore. When I'm waiting, I'm meditating. And so if I'm stuck in traffic or I'm waiting in line at a grocery store, what a gift from God. Here's an unexpected, unplanned opportunity for me to breathe the spirit of life, to infuse every cell in my body, to generate love with my heart, and maybe bless the people around me very quietly, very silently. And who knows, it doesn't matter. It's our experience. And if anyone else benefits, all the better.
Thank you. Thank you so much for all that wisdom, Dan. We really, really appreciate your time here at the Meditation Demystified conference. And there is a question here that comes from Lana. It says, I understand not paying attention to undue distractions. I wonder about meditating on pain in the body as a way to learn from it.
Absolutely. What a great teacher. The question about, pain, and can we somehow use pain? Yes, you meditate on, does it have a shape? Does your pain have a shape? Does it have a texture? If it could hold water, how much water could it hold? Does it have edges? Is there an intense place? Does it have pulse in it? Does it have anything moving? So we can explore the details of our pain. And that's meditation. And it's very liberating. And so bringing curiosity, looking for details, and not just, pain isn't just, boom, it's like one word, like one experience. But there are so many levels and layers and subtleties and details. And as soon as you explore those details and subtleties, you're meditating. If you're doing it with an openness, with a relaxed, with the focus, that's meditation. So definitely. And when you can extract the meditative benefits from pain, you can extract the meditative benefits from anything, because that's a difficult challenge. But when you do it there, wow, it opens it up everywhere else in your life. So yes, use everything to become more meditative.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Lana, for that question. And with that, again, I thank you, Dan, for your time here at this conference. And feel free to stop into our contemplation rooms if you get a moment. And thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you. Love and blessings to everyone. And I hope you grow this to 1 million people, Mahesh, because the world needs it more than ever. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you for
Signing
the
off.
blessings, Dan. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.